10 of the Constitution, Section 3 and 16 of the Leadership Integrity Act 2012, the Leadership Act, and Section 9, 10, and 12 of the Public Officers Act 2003 establish, among others, the rule of law, democracy, human dignity, courtesy, respect, social justice, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, probity, professionalism, non-discrimination, protection of the marginalized, good governance, transparency, and accountability as part of the national values and principles of governance. Articles 10, 7.3 and 7.5 of the Constitution require state officers at all times, whether in public or private life, to behave in a manner that, among other things, brings honor to the nation and dignity to the office that a state officer owns. 1, ensures decisions are not influenced by nepotism, favoritism, or any other improper motives. 3, demonstrate discipline and commitment in service to the people. And 4, avoids demeaning the office that is a state officer owns. Article 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution, and Section 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the County Government Act 2012, the County Government Act, provide for the values and the principles of public service and establish an elaborate framework for the establishment of county public offices and the recruitment, employment, and dismissal of county public officers. Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act, and the Standing Order number 65 of the Standing Orders of the County of the Assembly provides for the impeachment of county governors for, among other things, 1, gross violation of the Constitution, 2, gross violation of any other law, 3, abuse of office, and 4, gross misconduct. The governor has engaged in multiple and discreditable acts that severally and collectively amount to 1, gross violation of the Constitution, 2, gross violation of various national and county laws, 3, abuse of office, and 4, gross misconduct. The discreditable act have expressed the office of the governor, the assembly and its leadership, and the people of Meru County embarrassment, ridicule, and disrepute. Discreditable acts have created a toxic environment in which the governor cannot be legitimately expected or relied upon to work harmoniously with staff and elected leaders at the national and the county levels of government. And the governor's continued stay in office under the prevailing toxic environment will inevitably undermine effective and efficient service delivery and thus at the interests of the people of the county. The Assembly resolves to impeach the governor under Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 3.3 of the County Government Act, and Standing Order 65 of the Standing Orders of the Assembly on the following grounds: nepotism, illegal appointments, and of dismissal, and usurpation of the constitutional and the statutory functions of county organs. Appointment of husband to county offices. On or around 30 September 2022, the governor engaged in 1, gross misconduct, 2, grossly violated Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution, 3, grossly violated Section 17 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, 4, grossly violated Section 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the County Government Act, and 5, grossly violated Section 6 and 11 of the Meru County Youth Service Act 2018, and grossly violated Section 4 of the Public Appointment County Assemblies Approval Act 2017 by A, appointing a husband to the non-existent position of the patron of the Meru Youth Service before conducting a transparent and competitive recruitment process. B, appointing a husband to be appointing a husband to the non-existent position of the male as well as ambassador before conducting a transparent and competitive recruitment process. C, disregarding the criteria for the establishment of offices within the county public service. D, failing to submit a husband's name for approval by the assembly before making the unpunched appointment. E, the appointing Rufus Millet as the county secretary without the approval of the assembly. F, appointing the foreign and qualified persons to hold county offices without undertaking a transparent and competitive recruitment process. 1, Munene Samaritan as Director of Special Programs. 2, Ernest Mutembei as Director Monitoring and Evaluation. 3, Enere Mzungu as Director of Administration. And 4, Hilary Sandi as Director of Communication. G, usurping or thrashing the constitutional and statutory functions of 1, the Assembly, 2, the Meru County Public Service Board, and 3, the Meru County Youth Service Board. Evidence of the governor: 1, gross misconduct, gross violation of Articles 10, 232, 235, 236 of the Constitution, gross violation of Section 17 of the Public Offices Act. 4, gross violation of sections 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the County Government Act. 5, gross violation of section 6 and 11 of the Meru County Youth Service Act 2018, and gross violation of section 4 of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act 2017 is set in the videos saved as Annex 2, Appointment of Husband, Annex 3, Appointment of Rufus Millet, and Annex 4, Appointment of Hilary Sandi in the first disc presented here with the transcript. Translations of these videos are attached as Annex 2A, Annex 3A, Annex 4A to the affidavit sworn by Dennis Tiaura and the MK on 21st November 2022 in support of this motion. The affidavit in support of the motion, further evidence is in the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission data dated 19th October 2022 and a screenshot from the governor's Facebook page, respectively attached as Annex 5 and Annex 5A to the affidavit in support of the motion, round-signed appointment of county workers at Timau. On or around 22nd September 2022, the governor grossly violated A, Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution, and grossly violated Section 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and the 65 of the County Government Act by A, appointing firefighters at a public rally at Timau in misguided and unsweetenable populism before conducting a transparent and competitive recruitment process. B, subjecting potential applicants for any county jobs to public humiliation by converting the crowd at the public rally as the advertising, recruiting, shortlisting, and appointing authority. And C, usurping and trashing exclusive constitutional and statutory mandate and the functions of the Meru County Public Service Board. Evidence of the governors: 1, gross violation of Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution, and 2, gross violation of Section 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the County Government Act is set in the video and is saved as Annex 6 in the first disc presented here with the transcript. Translation of the video is attached as Annex 6A to the affidavit to the motion. Round-signed appointment of county workers at Nkobo. On or around 9th September 2022, the governor engaged in 1, gross misconduct, 2, gross violation of Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution, and 3, gross violation of Section 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and the 65 of the County Government Act by A, appointing market guns at a public rally at Nkobo in misguided and unsustainable populism before conducting a transparent and competitive recruitment process, and B, usurping exclusive constitutional and statutory functions and mandate of the Meru County Public Service Board. Evidence of the governors: 1, gross misconduct; 2, gross violation of articles of 1, Article 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution, and 3, gross violation of Section 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the County Government Act is set in the video saved as Annex 7 in the first disc. Presented herewith, the transcript translation of the video is attached as Annex 7 to the affidavit in support of the motion. Road-signed appointment of county workers at Kianjai. On 9th September 2022, the governor engaged in 1, gross misconduct; 2, gross violation of Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution, and 3, gross violation of Section 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the County Government Act by A, illegally directing one and sub-county administrators to employ sweepers and market guns at a public rally at Kianjai in misguided and unsustainable populism before conducting a transparent and competitive recruitment process, and B, directing one and sub-county administrators to usurp exclusive constitutional and statutory functions and mandates of the Meru County Public Service Board. Evidence of the governors: 1, gross misconduct; 2, gross violation of Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution, and 3, gross violation of Sections 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the County Government Act is set in the video saved as Annex 8 in the first disc presented herewith. The transcript translation of the video is attached as Annex 8A to the affidavit in support of the motion. Illegal Committee on the Meru Municipality. On or around 21st October 2022, the governor: 1, grossly violated Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution; 2, gross violated Section 12, 14, 15, and 20 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act; and 3, grossly violated the charter establishing the Meru Municipality by A, illegally appointing a committee to manage Meru Municipality affairs at a public rally at Kinoru, yet the function is vested in the Meru Municipal Board. B, directing the aforesaid illegal committee to usurp the functions of the Meru Municipal Board. C, usurping the functions of the Meru County Public Service Board. D, trashing the procedures for the appointment of county public officers. And E, spewing the hate speech against the G4S company. Evidence of the governors: 1, gross violation of Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution, and 3, gross violation of Section 12, 14, 15, and 20 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act is set in the video saved as Annex 9 in the first disc presented herewith. The transcript translation of the video is attached as Annex 9A to the affidavit in support of the motion. Incitement, bullying, vilification, and misleading campaigns against other leaders. The governor has 1, grossly violated Article 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution; 2, grossly violated Section 19 of the Public Office Act; 3, grossly violated Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act; and 4, repeatedly engaged in gross misconduct by A, owning public vilification, incitement, and humiliation rallies against members of the County Assembly and other elected leaders; B, falsely accusing members of the Assembly and other elected leaders of cartelism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation; C, owning public vilification and incitement rallies against the Catholic Church and the Catholic clergy; and D, inciting the public against the members of the Assembly and other elected leaders, well knowing that Church conduct can easily trigger violent reactions and pose serious breaches of the peace. Evidence of specific illustrative examples of the governance, purification, and incitement campaigns against members of the Assembly and other elected leaders are outlined in paragraphs 7 to 12 below. Humiliation of the minority leader. On or around 24th October 2022, the Governor, 1, grossly violated Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, 2, grossly violated Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, 3, grossly violated Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and 4, engaged in gross misconduct by A, bullying and inciting the public against the minority leader and the member of Assembly for Akidi 1 under Mutembei 3. The minority leader at a public rally held at Mweronkanga. B, requiring the minority leader to make a public apology for unknown and disclosed wrongs at the public rally held at Mweronkanga. C, voluntarily grabbing a microphone from the minority leader at the public rally held at Mweronkanga. D, offering to protect the minority leader against the Speaker of the Assembly from unknown and undisclosed dangers. And E, falsely accusing the members of the Assembly and other elected leaders of cartelism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation. Evidence of the governors: 1, gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution. 2, gross violation of Section 19 of the Public Officer Act. 3, gross violation of Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. And 4, gross misconduct is set in the video saved as Annex 11 in the first disc presented herewith. The transcript / translation of the video is attached as Annex 11A to the affidavit in support of the motion. Verification of minority whip and other leaders. On or around 25th October 2022, the Governor, 1, grossly violated Article 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution. 2, grossly violated Section 19 of the Public Officers Ethics Act. 3, grossly violated Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. And 4, engaged in gross misconduct by A, inciting the people against the minority whip and the member of Assembly for Bogota West Ward, Honorable Dennis GMK, the minority whip, at a public rally held at Ngongo in Bogota West 1. B, falsely accusing the minority whip of stoning R. And C, falsely accusing the member of the Assembly and other elected leaders of cartelism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation. Evidence of the governors: 1, gross violation of Article 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution. 2, gross violation of Section 19 of the Public Officers Ethics Act. Gross violation of Section 29 and 34 of Leadership and Integrity Act. And 4, gross misconduct is set in the video saved as Annex 12 in the first disc presented herewith. The transcription and the translation of the video is attached as Annex 12A to the affidavit in support of the motion. Verification of the Senator of Meru County. On or on 12 September 2022, the Governor, 1, grossly violated Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution. 2, grossly violated Section 19 of the Public Officers Act. 3, grossly violated Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. And 4, engaged in gross misconduct by A, inciting the people against the Senator of Meru County, Honorable Kaduli Murungi, at a public rally held at Tilare in Tunene Ward. B, falsely accusing the Senator of demanding a chair of county government appointment. C, falsely accusing the Senator of antagonizing and creating a wedge between the Governor and the President of the Republic of Kenya. And D, falsely accusing the Senator of cartelism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation. Evidence of the governors: gross violation of Article 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution. 2, gross violation of Section 19 of the Public Officers Act. 3, gross violation of Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. And 4, gross misconduct is set in the videos saved as Annex 13 in the first disc presented herewith. A transcript / translation of the video is attached as Annex 13A to the affidavit supporting the motion. Verification of the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture. On or on 12 September 2022, the Governor, 1. Grossly violated Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution. 2. Grossly violated Section 19 of the Public Officers Ethics Act. 3. Grossly violated Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership Integrity Act. And engaged, and number 4, engaged in gross misconduct by A. Bullying and inciting the people against the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, Honorable Franklin Mithika Linturi. At a public kilare on that Tilare in Intunene warned. B. Falsely accusing the Cabinet Secretary of demanding a share of county government appointments. C. Falsely accusing the Cabinet Secretary of antagonizing and creating a wedge between her and the President of the Republic of Kenya. And D. Falsely accusing the Cabinet Secretary of catharism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation. Evidence of the governors. 1. Gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution. 2. Gross violation of Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act. 3. Gross violation of Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership Integrity Act. And 4. Gross misconduct is set in the video saved as Annex 13 in the first disc presented herewith. A transcript stroke translation of the video is attached as Annex 13A to the affidavit supporting the motion. Verification of the MP for Tigania East constituency. On or around November 9th November 2022, the Governor and the husband, 1. Grossly violated Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution. 2. Grossly violated Section 19 of Public Officers Ethics Act. 3. Grossly violated Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership Integrity Act. And 4. Engaged in gross misconduct by A. Inciting the people against the Member of Parliament for Tigania East constituency under Mporo Abori at a public kilari held at Mbaranga in Karama Ward. B. Falsely accusing the MP for Tigania East of demanding that the Governor appoint the MP's wife as a county executive committee member. C. Falsely accusing the MP for Tigania East of demanding that the Governor pre-qualifies a store of companies for the award of county tenders. D. Falsely accusing the MP for Tigania East presenting fake pending bills for payment by the county government. And E. Falsely accusing the MP for Tigania East of catharism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation. Evidence the governors and the husband. 1. Gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution. 2. Gross violation of Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act. 3. Gross violation of Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership Integrity Act. And 4. Gross misconduct is set in the video saved as Annex 14 in the first disc, presented herewith. The transcript and translation of the video is attached as Annex 14A to the affidavit in support of the motion. Verification of the Catholic Church and the Kiranchi. On or around 17th October 2022, the Governor 1. Grossly violated Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution. 2. Grossly violated Section 19 of the Public Officers Ethics Act. 3. Grossly violated Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. And 4. Engaged in gross misconduct by A. Inciting the public against the Roman Catholic Church and the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Meru, Mr. Salesius Mugambi, at a public rally held at the former Igoji Boys Secondary School. B. Falsely accusing the Catholic Church of grabbing public land. C. Falsely accusing the Catholic Church of catharism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation. D. Conducting a mock prayer to demean and humiliate the Catholic Church and the Catholic clergy. And E. Inciting the people against religious leaders while knowing that church conduct can easily trigger violence, reactions, and pose a serious breach of the peace. Evidence of the governors. 1. Gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution. 2. Gross violation of Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act. 3. Gross violation of Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. And 4. Gross misconduct is set in the video saved as Annex 15 in the first disc presented herewith. Transcript and translation of the video is attached as Annex 15A to the affidavit in support of the motion. Forceful entry into the Assembly, presence and the mobilization of unlawful riot against members of the Assembly. On or around 19th October 2022, the governor and her husband, one, grossly violating Articles 10, 73 and 75 of the Constitution, two, grossly violating Section 5 and 7 of the County Assembly's Powers and Privileges Act 2017, and three, engaged in gross misconduct by A, forcibly entering the presence of the Assembly, B, forcibly accusing members of the Assembly and other elected leaders of terrorism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation, C, organizing a violent demonstration against the members of the Assembly at the Assembly premises, and D, addressing a riotous crowd at the premises of the Assembly. Evidence on governors and husband: one, gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution; two, gross violation of Section 5 and 7 of the County Assembly's Powers and Privileges Act 2017; and three, gross misconduct is set in the video saved as Annex 16. Transcripts and Annex 17 in the flasking disk presented herewith. The transcript / translation of the videos are attached as Annex 16A and Annex 17A to the affidavit in support of the motion. Violation of public finance management laws. On around 6 September 2022, the governor, one, grossly violated Articles 201 and 207, 1 of the Constitution, 2, grossly violated Section 109(2) and 159 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, 3, grossly violated Section 12 and 14 of the Public Offside Act, 4, grossly violated Section 16 and 35 of the Leadership Integrity Act, 5, engaged in gross misconduct, and 6, engaged in gross abuse of office by A, directing the Meru Teaching and Referral Hospital to spend all the revenue at source, whereas all monies leased or received by or earned by the county should be paid into the county revenue fund. B, issuing waivers on fees at the Meru Teaching and Referral Hospital, whereas the county executive committee member for finance is the only person legally empowered to grant church waivers, and C, directing county government officers to participate in furthering and advancing the interests of Aita TV, a media station owned by Mwangaza Advertiser Limited, a private company owned by the governor through a close relatives as proxies. Evidence of the governor's: 1, gross violation of Articles 201 and 207, 1 of the Constitution; 2, gross violation of Section 109(2) and 159 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012; 3, gross violation of Section 12 and 24 of the Public Offside Act; 4, gross violation of Section 16 and 35 of the Leadership Integrity Act; 5, gross misconduct; and 6, gross abuse of office is set in the video saved as Annex 18 in the first disk presented herewith. A transcript / translation of the video is attached as Annex 18A to the affidavit supporting the motion. Further evidence is in the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, letter dated 19 October 2022, and the document attached as Annex 18B and Annex 18C to the affidavit in support of the motion. Misconduct relating to the nomination of CECs. On or around 8 November 2022, the governor engaged in 1, gross misconduct; 2, grossly violating Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution; 3, grossly violating Section 10(1) of the Public Appointment County Assemblies Approval Act 2017, and 4, grossly violating Section 3, 4, 10, and 11 of the Meru County Detention Enhancement Fund Act 2016 by A, verifying members of the Assembly for refusing to approve some county executive CEC nominee at a public rally held at Kiangwa in Igoji West. B, falsely accusing members of the Assembly of changing custom chain and other nominees for appointment to the CEC. C, legally instructing customers to usurp the statutory functions of the Igoji West Want Retention Enhancement Fund Committee by identifying the persons that would benefit from county bursary funds. D, failing to submit names of the other candidates to the county assembly for approval for appointment the CEC after the assembly injected some nominees. E, the organizing and government to 6 departments and 3 CEC members after the injection of some nominees instead of submitting names of other candidates to the county assembly for approval. And F, swearing to appoint to a government and actively work with the rules of the 2022 county elections instead of the newly elected MCAs to steer Lagos within the assembly. Evidence of the governor 1, gross misconduct, 2, gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, and 3, gross violation of Section 10(1) of the Public Appointment County Assembly's Approval Act 2017 is set in the video saved as Annex 19 and Annex 20 in the flash disk presented herewith. The transcripts of the videos are attached as Annex 19A and Annex 20A to the affidavit in support of the motion. Honourable members, this brings a question that has the ratio of a vote by 2/3 of the members. That is 69. Honourable members of this House, voting will be done through roll call. Voting where honourable members will be called in alphabetical order, and when so called a member will declare from where he or she sits that either I vote aye or I vote nay or I abstain. I now therefore call upon the sergeant at arms to ring the division bell for a period not exceeding 10 minutes. Yes, Leader Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm raising on a point of order that pursuant to standing order number 31.3, this Honorable Assembly extends its sitting time